Alright, you already know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. NFL Week 1 has officially wrapped up, and we have a lot to talk about. So in this video, I want to try an idea of mine. So normally how people have Week 1 reviews as something I want to start now, since last year my channel wasn't made around this time when NFL started up. I want to do something where instead of just talking about Week 1, I want to grade each team's Week 1 performance, and of course every week as it goes on. It doesn't take rocket science to understand how these type of videos work. I'm going to go through each game, I'm going to give each team their own individual grade, just based on my own opinion. And with all that being said, I do have a quick disclaimer. I am not a professional. By all means, I am the furthest thing away from being a professional. This is all strictly my opinion, and if I give a team a grade that you don't agree with, please let me know down below in the comments what you would have said instead. I'm really interested to hear everybody's opinions, and I'm really just interested to see what y'all thought about Week 1. And all I do ask is if you are new here, please subscribe. It does help the channel out and helps my name get out there more. But anyways, with all that being said, let's get into grading your team's Week 1 performance. Alright, here we have the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna go ahead and get things out of the way first and say it. They look better than I expected. Run game mainly. Like, if you would have told me both Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders both got over 50 rushing yards, let alone being the main contributor for the scoring in this matchup, with Williams' 2 touchdowns, I'd have called you a damn liar. Just sucks the run game did stall up later on, especially the fumble by Sanders in the third, which killed, if not one of their best drives put together in the second half, where both teams struggled to do much. And for the Cowboys, it meant a shit ton, with a large chance right there to grab this game by the balls. So while that was happening, you had an okay performance from Dak. You know, I mean, nothing crazy. The guy didn't have a single passing touchdown, but he did go 21 for 34, and I feel he did enough to say you can't blame the guy for their shortcomings, despite being unable to finish some drives, whereas I would like to turn my attention to the man of the hour, CD Lamb. So Mr. Lamb, I just want to say, what the fuck was that? What was that? Where was CD? Where was CD? Like, where was CD during those important moments? Because all I saw was Kadarius Lamb. Genuinely, what the fuck is all I can say? Sure, the guy had 110 yards, but that doesn't mean fucking stop trying after the delay. Because I'm telling you, he went into the locker room, CD Lamb, and out came a different man. Those 4 drops were ugly. 1, I get it, but 4 is insane. And for being a top 5 receiver, those in that top 5 would have made these catches. I ain't saying he ain't up there, but last night sure as hell wasn't the best example, and definitely was a game I'm sure he's not gonna forget. Cowboys had plenty, and I mean plenty of chances to do something Thursday night, with plenty of flashes, but just could never get the job done. You had the offense struggling to do anything really, whereas the opposite for the defense, actually, and for a Micah Parsons defense, it did really good. You know, and improved from last year's run defense, where they were letting up 137 rushing yards a game, to limiting Saquon to only 60 on 18 carries. That might not sound large, but that is a win, trust me. Secondary was amazing, with Diggs holding A.J. Brown to 1 catch, which I still find so hard to believe. But I mean, when you're getting double teamed, that's exactly what's going to happen. And Bland only giving up 2 catches on his end for 11 yards max. My only knock on this defense, where's the pressure on Hurts? Where is the pressure? You know, the man's had enough time in the backfield to call Jerry Jones himself and say thanks for the time, shithead, for trading Micah Parsons, before taking it himself for either a large first down or it's straight up in the end zone for 6. Hurts was doing it all thanks to their defense's ability to not stop him while being able to stop everybody else. Overall, if I had to sum it up, this team doesn't look half as bad as we expected, and they got that competitiveness in them that could still hold up against the rest of the NFC. But for this matchup, they just couldn't put it all together when the moment was there for the taking. So I'm going to give them a C, because you always got to take into effect that this was without the Eagles' best defender playing. So, I mean, shit could have swung in a different direction had Spitgate not happened. Good performance by the Cowboys, but I'm going to have to give it a grade C. Next up, we have their opponent, the Philadelphia Eagles. Talk about nearly shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, not just one player, but 2. Gone off a kickoff with the infamous Dak Tua spit on that jersey by yours truly, Jalen Carter. This play alone fucked up a lot of things because how massive of an advantage it really was for the Cowgirls, and how much weaker of a defense they became without his presence. I mean, I ain't saying their ass, but you know, it's one thing to have Jalen Carter, and it's one thing to not have Jalen Carter. But I mean, even with this, it was still a very solid performance overall, to say the least. I mean, it could have been much better, but it got the job done, so I doubt they really care much. Hurts played good, perhaps probably carried the game. I mean, I don't got much to comment on there. I think he did everything he was asked to perfectly. Put the offense on his back when needed with the 2 rushing touchdowns and the leadership they needed in this close battle. My only gripe would have been is how you have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and somehow Dotson has more yards with less catches combined between the two. I know AJ likes to read, but you could tell the dude put the ball where the book is, and that's in his damn hands. Like, it's wild. We know he's a great receiver, same with Smith, and yet it was still a disappointing performance from the two. I mean, yes, you could say they got double teamed, but I mean, I just at least expected a little bit more. But again, even with that, Hurts was efficient enough and dominated when he was asked to, which is why I believe he played perfect enough to at least just get the job done and get the win. Nothing crazy, nothing jaw-dropping, just doing what's necessary. If only I could say the same for the defense. Lots of, and I mean lots of penalties. Especially with pass interference, and may I mind you this, they're playing like this against the Cowboys. So it concerned me how close they came so many times to selling the game. I mean, after the first half, they definitely did step up and practically shut them down the entire second half. But even then, if CD didn't turn to a paraplegic on some of these routes, or if Sanders didn't fumble, I can't say the outcome would have been the same. It might have been different, or it just might have been much closer, but truly, I would say the blame would fall on the defense regardless. So while they got it done today, you definitely want to improve off of this. But again, I'm not too worried about it. You know, they were without Jalen Carter, and it's just week one. Nobody's perfect. And for them, while they were not perfect, they stood firm on business, and they came in and they got it done. Far from perfect, with a lot of issues to still clean up, especially on discipline, which for a championship team was kind of weak to see. But I mean, job got done, so it is what it is, but for me, it's a B-. Alright, then we have Friday night's game in Brazil. Let's start with the Kansas City Chiefs. Talk about a game. First things first, nothing but respect to the Chargers. Really good game we had, and a win much deserved for them, but I'm going to get over to the Chargers later. Let's talk about my Chiefs real quick. I could say a lot of things. I'm not trying to throw excuses here. I do believe we fully deserve to lose this one, but things that really didn't help us be even close here is stuff like Travis Kelce killing Xavier Worthy on the first snap. And the majority of our game plan with him as well died along in that same play, you big son of a bitch. Hollywood Brown, while he did better later on, those drops in the beginning sure as fuck were not helpful. I'm guessing he was feeling a little inspired by CD Lamb. We need receiver help. Fire Juwan Taylor. I can't stand this motherfucker. I don't know why we still have him. I've been screaming at the top of my lungs. The last 2 years he's been here. He's a walking flag and sets us back too damn much. Call it a liability. Newcomer Josh Simmons, I'll cut him some slack. First game for being out there. Actually, since really the start of last year with the Buckeyes, since he got injured, but he cost us big in plenty crucial moments. Then you get to our defense. Sincerely, y'all were ass. Pass rush was pathetic, could have been invisible. I wouldn't have fucking noticed it was there to begin with. There was no pressure whatsoever in the first half. Didn't show up in the moments we needed, especially at the end. Receivers were just open everywhere. From Ladd to Allen, everybody was eating. It was a catch one, get another, call it buy one, get one free type ass game. Everybody was feeding off Herbert. Getting our ass whooped in the air and on the ground. It was an ugly game overall, and I thank God for Tranquil and Karlaftis for at least trying. But everybody else pissed me off and gave me concerns I didn't think I had till mid-season. Horrible performance from them, and as usual, Mahomes putting the team on his back with no large playmakers, go fucking figure, and nearly carrying us to a victory. He kept us in this dogfight and made it a lot closer than really should have been. Oh yeah, and fire Matt Nagy. Why do we keep him? I don't understand how this dumb fuck has a job. I don't get it. This dude fucking sucks. How you have Patrick Mahomes and struggle to score is beyond my knowledge. So there's blame to go around for everybody. Nobody is left out. No perfect performance here whatsoever, and certainly we did not look like a Super Bowl team. Giving my Chiefs a C-. If we don't change something soon, I'm telling you now, we ain't doing shit against the better teams, and we're about to have one of the most off years since the Patrick Mahomes era has begun. And now we have the winners of the game, the Los Angeles Chargers. Played damn near perfect on all aspects of the field besides a few plays. A lot of things to say in this performance, but I really love the way Herbert performed. He played absolutely lights out, 318 yards, going 25 for 34 with 3 touchdowns and 32 rushing yards, with a large run to seal the win. Run game was decent. Hampton's future does look bright here. Just maybe teach the guy how not to run out of bounds in important moments. The receiving room did a lot better than I imagined. I mean, I knew Ladd was a dog, but I didn't expect Allen and Quinnen to play such big roles. I mean, I'm glad to really see he's finally turning it around. Despite the few drops in his game, he still played very well and looks to be changing the narrative everybody had set for him after his rookie season. And for Allen, I mean, Allen's doing Allen things. I mean, he's showing teams he's still got it. Nobody wanted him in free agency, so he said, fuck that, I'm gonna come back here and prove everybody wrong, and that's exactly what he did. Dicker the kickers showed out. I mean, defense did everything necessary to shut down anything we tried, batted down the right balls, and many of those balls were inches away from being picked off. Oh, and yeah, thank you for punching Travis Kelce. I really fucking needed to see that, especially after the Xavier Worthy pick. Pissed me off. But anyways, I'm gonna give the Chargers an A here. Not crystal clear perfect, but I mean, hear me out. Chargers gonna go crazy this year if they keep this up. And we might be looking at an MVP year by Herbert. I'm just saying. This might be the start to something great. Definitely the best way to send a message to the rest of the league, and that's beating your kryptonite. Solid A performance overall. Now we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Bengals. I ain't even gonna sit here and lie to you. They did a fuck ton better than I expected. Especially the offense. Start to finish. Flacco looked amazing, which I had my doubts here, I ain't gonna lie to you, but the offense ran smoothly with him under center. 290 yards on 31 for 45 passing attempts, with 1 passing touchdown and 2 picks, which can be argued that it was more the receiver's fault on the tipped ball than Flacco's, but I know some people will just pin the blame on him for it though. For me though, he was solid and did what the Browns paid him to do, and that's just game management to put the team in a winning spot, which he nearly did. Credit also to the defense, they were able to shut down the Bengals pass game, letting Burrow only pass for 113 yards, and limiting guys like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to 30 yards apiece max. Which, to make this offense struggle, you really had to be doing something right, which the Browns' 3 sacks in a row by the life-size human tank himself, Myles Garrett, will tell you they were doing it right. Which would have looked like a much better performance had the Browns actually won like they were supposed to. But no! Andre Schmidt, or whatever the fuck his name is, said, you know, we might have played good football, but I gotta remind everybody, we're still the Browns. And proceeds to miss 2 damn kicks on extra point to go-ahead kick in the 4th from 36 yards out. What a fucking joke. Funniest part was it's the guy's first NFL start, but also funny enough, it was his last, as it should have been. I would have been at the motherfucker's locker with a damn trash bag already. Helen Keller would have sunk the kick. This guy blows and sold the game heavily. I'm gonna give the Browns a C+. I think they did everything well as far as what was expected. From Flacco leading great drives to the defense being pure lockdown and having themselves in a winning position until their kicker decided he's actually paralyzed from the waist down and feels the need to miss everything extra. But of course, you know, if Flacco doesn't throw the 2 picks or his receivers didn't drop some of these passes, it probably wouldn't have even came down to that damn kick. Good news for Cleveland though, the team actually looks like it won't be the victims of blowout damn near every week. They might be mid, but they're mid with a whole lot of fire and a lot of dog in them. Giving the Browns a C+. And now we have their opponents, the Cincinnati Bengals. Every year since 22, the Bengals start off so damn slow, it's not even funny at this point. Last year, they struggled week 1 against the Patriots. 23, he failed to perform against the Browns, and here we have just another showing of that. Maybe the Browns really are this man's kryptonite. You know, I've seen the jokes, but I mean, shit, they might actually be right. Which, unironically, it was the defense that showed up this game and not the offense for once. Burrow played horrible in the nicest way possible, but I can't exactly blame the guy either. I mean, their O-line almost got the poor bastard killed every damn drive. Chase was pretty much non-existent. I couldn't even find him. I think you had to put out a damn Amber Alert at this point. Higgins was there, but didn't amount to much, where the only offensive piece that had an impact on the game was Chase Brown and Noah Fant. Aside from those two, it was a very mediocre day. If you're the Bengals fan, that's a performance you really want to forget. And what about just lost any other starting defense in this damn league? But you know, thankfully it's the Browns, and the Browns found a way to fuck it up. Now for the defense, 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 2 picks, 1 pass breakup, and just doing everything possible to keep the Browns from scoring anything more than 3 points on their drive, which paid off big in the end, putting them in a position to walk away from this game with a victory without really having to do much offensively. But again, this is one of those games where it's like the Browns beat themselves more than the Bengals did beating them. It was an ugly win, but I mean, for a team that hasn't won a season opener in a fat minute, you're gonna take it, and you're gonna like it. Regardless how it's done, it's a Bengals win at the end of the day. I'm gonna give them just a solid C. Now we have the Miami Dolphins at the Indianapolis Colts. Let's start on the Dolphins. F-ass-and fucking terrible. Look, I get the guy is CTE, just tell the dumb sumbitch which team is yours before going out there. Tua turned the ball over, just lives up to his name and the massive contract the Dolphins thought would be so amazing to give him, right? For every concussion he has, he threw for picks in this game. Starting with not 1, not 2, but 3 turnovers with a fumble in the first 4 drives in which the Colts ran up the score on these opportunities, where to no one's surprise, no one on the defense was able to stop them. You had Daniel Jones out of every damn quarterback in the league, looking like prime Peyton Manning. What the hell? I mean, Tua would eventually find Achane in the end zone for 6, Just so happens he did this when everybody went home, even including the defenses. Like, the game was already over, and now it's like, all right, now we want to score finally. I called this in my hot take video. I said the Dolphins need to blow it up. Fire McDaniels, fire Greer, trade Tyreek. Tua is not your guy, and this game perfectly captures that. I don't want to say I told you so, but I did. The sad part about this game is I didn't even have high expectations. Mine were low. Just holy shit though, I didn't think they could manage to go even lower than it was already set. It was just a disaster of a performance from everybody and looks like the start to another tank for the Fins. Just instead of tank for Tua this time, it's let's tank with Tua. Miami, you're a joke, and I'm giving you the first F of the year and the first F of the week. Very ugly start to a very upcoming ugly year. Now we have their opponent, the Indianapolis Colts. A+. What in the redemption game was this? So Daniel Jones went from being viewed as bottom of the barrel and a dog shit quarterback to now getting the credit he deserves and actually having people liking him as their starter. See what you did, Miami? But no, actually in all seriousness, for somebody who was quick to jump the gun on the guy in New York, you can look past on my channel, I made videos on it. He looked great. He looked great. I mean, scratch that. He was honestly perfect. Let us score just on about every possession they had. And I'm sorry, Mr. Dimes, or should I call you Indiana Jones? I was not familiar with your game, sir, by all means. Stun on these hoes. You earned this apology and earned my apology. That sure as hell takes a lot of convincing. Not really, anyways. Now, he might not look like this all season long, because, I mean, it's Miami. They suck, and, I mean, really just about every team can blow out them. But at least he makes them fun to watch and gives them solid quarterback play compared to what they had the last couple of years, especially in AR-15, just not loaded. And maybe it was just the Giants. I mean, who knows? I'm not going to get ahead of myself with them and say they look like contenders or anything. But again, it's 10 times better than what Anthony Richardson would have gave them. Now, for the other side of the ball, we have the Colts defense. They completely put a cork in the top of the Dolphins blowhole. I mean, everything that they knew how to do as far as scoring, they forgot it. They completely tore apart this offense. Just pure belt to ass. I mean, even the special teams was perfect. You really could have not asked for a much better start. That is, however, unless you're Dolphins, you could ask for a lot of things better. But thankfully for the Colts, they're not Miami. So for the Colts, I'm giving y'all a huge A+. Next game, we have the Buccaneers at the Falcons. So for Tampa Bay, for starting off slow, they sure did snatch the win out of Atlanta's hands like stealing candy from a child. And it's thanks to Emeka Egbuka, who to nobody's shocker is great. 2 touchdowns on the night, including a 25-yard game winner with under a minute left. I mean, I knew he'd be their guy. I just didn't think it was going to happen this quick. Dude, it's just him. And yes, the Falcons did technically outplay them all game, and the defense did shut down the Buccaneers' offense. But when it was crunch time, Baker was money. Nothing but ice in the veins and made the big plays when needed the most, especially with the game-winning touchdown. And with it also being a close victory, it's also a big win against a division rival on the road. This is a win you gotta be happy to have. I mean, really, it could have went both ways. Huge statement match right here, especially since it's really either them or the Falcons for the winners. Everyone else in this division is fucking garbage. But for this performance, I'm gonna give the Bucs a B. And now we get to the Atlanta Falcons. This is one of those games you just gotta hate letting slip out of your hands, especially in the most painful way possible, by a fucking kick. Young Ho Koo, this Ho who already struggled last season, had the chance to be the hero and create a strong narrative, but no, of course not. We have another kicker play brain dead just like the Browns, because I guess being the hero isn't meant for everybody. So in other words, to sum up the ball game, they just have one dumbass kicker. I think that's fair to say. And it's a shame because the Falcons defense showed up and they showed out, holding the Buccaneers run game to under 100 rushing yards, forcing a couple of key stops, and really just keeping this thing winnable all afternoon long. And also keeping Mayfield from having a Mayfield type performance, struggling to even throw more than 200 yards. Which, if you know anything about Mayfield, that dude produces like no other. So safe to say the defense was here. Now for the offense. Michael Penix Jr. came in and said, I got this, with 298 passing yards, 1 touchdown through the air, plus another score on the ground. Penix played his ass off. As for the run game, non-existent. I mean, Atlanta finished with less than 60 rushing yards total, which while it does suck to see, Penix did more than enough on production with his arm to make up for it, with his best receiver of the day being none other than his running back Bijan Robinson, who wasn't just good, the dude was dominant. 6 catches, 100 yards with a 50-yard dime for a touchdown. Just an absolute crazy performance. He broke tackles, made guys miss, and basically dragged the offense down the field one way or the other with his own feet. It just sucks, this can be one of those where everything was done right by everybody but one guy. Hopefully they start exploring the options, because I don't know how many more games this guy could fuck up and get away with. It's a tough loss and one that's definitely going to sting knowing you had your division rivals right where you wanted them. Gonna give this one a B. I mean, they could have done a lot of things better, but for week 1, overall, strong performance. Now we have the Carolina Panthers. After a strong finish in 24 by Young, you had Panthers fans and the Panthers organization was so convinced Bryce is it. This is it. Honestly, this is going to be his best year. Bryce is him. And he would take a huge big step forward this year with hopes of even contending in your own division. I mean, hell, y'all had my ass convinced he was going to be the next greatest thing since sliced bread. As a Tide fan, it's really all I hope for. I mean, like, with all the pieces they're putting around him, I was like, Bama Bryce might actually be back. Fuck no. Just no. Instead of taking a big step forward, he took a step that's bigger than him backwards. Talking, he took a step back down some stairs and just went right back to the bottom and where we started with this. Young turned the ball over 3 different times, with 2 of those being picks and the other a fumble, going 18 for 35 and barely 154 passing yards. Which I know it's week 1 and you'll have people coming at my neck saying I'm hating, so I'm gonna slow up on the hate watch, but all I'm gonna say is, he better step up. And no, I'm not talking showing up in the last 4 games when the year's already over. I'm talking as soon as next week. Next week, the week before that, he better improve quickly and turn it around. Because I'm telling you, he's on his 3rd strike. And after 3 of you, I'm pretty sure you're out. He's going to be out and they're going to start looking at a new direction because I don't know how much time more they want to waste on this. Sure, Young's a great person, looks to be a nice leader, but having a good and fun personality doesn't translate to winning some damn games. And for a franchise that hasn't done a whole lot of that, they're going to start looking for someone else who can. And yes, I've heard of all the excuses from the drops to the coordinators. I've heard them all the last 2 years and going into this one, and trust me, I'd like to believe them too. But at some point, we got to seriously start the questions again. And that's if Bryce Young is really their guy. Hopefully, and I mean hopefully, he plays much better next game. But for this performance overall, I'm giving Young and the Panthers a D. Now we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not even 1 hour rain delay could cool off the Jacksonville Jaguars. Seriously though, fuck weather delays. This is one of the few other games I had on my TV actually, and it was annoying to see flipping back between channels. Anyways, Liam Cohen made his head coaching debut and he went straight back right to what he was doing in Tampa Bay. And that's pounding the rock. And damn it, did it work? I mean, the Jags rushing attack was basically unstoppable all game long. Now let's get to the man of the game, Travis Etienne Jr. Absolute monster. 16 carries and 143 yards total. That's almost 9 yards a pop. Welcome back 2023 Travis Etienne. I mean, as of this morning, they traded Tank right after this, so I think it's safe to say job well secured and a victory well earned. Lawrence was alright. Nothing too special. 19 for 31, 178 yards, 1 touchdown. And a fair day from everybody on receiving. You know, Travis Hunter being the guy everyone looked forward to. And honestly, he looked solid. I mean, very explosive to say the least with 6 receptions for 33 yards. Just a solid day through the air, but it's clear the run game did most of that work. And now for the defense. They feasted on Bryce Young. What more do I need to say? They practically took all the hopes and dreams the Panthers fans had for Bryce Young, and they stole them. They stole them, and they crushed it by showing how ass he still really can be. 2 interceptions and a forced fumble. I mean, they made life miserable for the guy. And sure, while Young did most of the fuck-ups himself, good on the Jags for actually taking advantage of it. So the bottom line here is, Jacksonville's opener couldn't have gone any better. The offense clicked. The defense dominated, and now all eyes are on week 2 against the Bengals to see what they're really made of. If they bring us energy, all I'm saying is, watch out. Good game overall. I'm going to give the Jaguars an A-. Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. It might only be week 1, but the Raiders might have just hit the damn jackpot trading for Geno Smith. He came out firing, torching the Patriots for 362 yards and dropped a dime of a 26-yard touchdown to Trey Tucker on the very first drive. You want to be a contending team? This is how you do it. Good shit, Vegas. And the chemistry? It was practically immediate. I mean, we knew Bowers would show up for just about anybody, but him and Geno look like they've been playing with each other for years now. Brock Bowers had 103 yards. Jacoby Myers damn near hit 100 himself, combining for 200 through the air. And that's not even including everyone else who got their piece on this horrible Patriots secondary. Oh yeah, let's not forget, Pete Carroll just became the oldest head coach in NFL history just off this start. And funny enough, it's clear he's still better than some head coaches today. I mean, this Raiders team looks dangerous, and as a Chiefs fan, it pisses me off to see, but I can't lie. I'm somebody who sure as hell loves some good competition, whether that's winning or losing. I love competition. So I'm glad to see the Raiders are back to looking, well, how the Raiders should be looking. I'm going to give the Raiders an A-. Now we have the Patriots. Yeah, this team didn't change much. I mean, all this rebuilding in the offseason, and nope, they're still the same. They're still the same, and there's still tons, and I mean tons of work to be done here. And which, while they did contain the run game, holding Genty to just 38 yards and the entire room to just under 60, I just wish they had an answer for Geno Smith. Dude was feeding off the secondary's poor performance all game long. I mean, he threw for almost 400 yards. Just a very mediocre day from the secondary. And now we turn to the offense. That is, if there even was an offense to begin with. Come to second half, you'd think everyone stayed in the locker room the way nothing got done. It was a disaster. And I feel bad for May because, not much they could do through the air. But at least if you had an actual solid run game, the pressure wouldn't have been on him as much as it really was. But go fucking figure, this team couldn't even buy a run play if they wanted to. I don't understand it. I mean, why is Ramondre Stevenson even on a roster? Why feed the guy? I mean, you have Travion Henderson. Why not hand the ball to Henderson more? I've seen third stringers on other teams get more carries than all the Patriots backs combined today. Of course there's no run game, but how can there be one when you don't hand the fucking ball out to anybody? I blame the offense coordinator and I blame the head coach. I mean, we know what Henderson's capable of if you were watching the preseason, and we did see him here today. He made some catches, but I want to see the man run the ball. Dish him the ball. Just so many questionable plays that make you realize this offense has long ways to go before it's at that level everyone was expecting. I'm not saying they'll be 4-13 bad, but I don't think they'll beat it by much. I'm going to give them a C. It was pretty disappointing for what we were expecting. Now we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Aaron Rodgers revenge game did not disappoint, which, I mean, I hate calling it a revenge game because you were there for a year. For it to really count as a revenge game in my eyes, he had to at least do something significant, otherwise there'd be a lot more revenge games in the league. Anyways, at 41 years old, Rodgers stuck into his old team. For those who look at stats only and not the game itself, yeah, he didn't go that crazy or anything that says the Steelers' offense is elite, but the efficiency here is pretty crazy. While not making every throw, the ones he did make were the ones that needed to connect the most, which the chemistry with DK is already real, and it makes the trade age like fine wine. I just wish they kept Pickens. I still don't think that was a great idea to just ditch the guy. But I mean, for Metcalf, 4 catches, 83 yards, and was getting hit in stride all game long. This pairing looks tough. Now, for the Steelers defense, normally, and I mean normally, the strength and backbone of this team comes from the defense. Although this game, they got pushed more around than anyone else expected. I mean, if you would have told me Fields had 218 passing yards, 48 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, I would have said, what the hell happened to the Steelers defense? And the thing is, that's just him. Breece Hall went for 107, Garrett Wilson had 95 receiving yards. I mean, these are just stats this defense normally doesn't let up much. $100 million question right now is it really just a rough start week 1? Or is there something to actually worry about here at Pittsburgh? I don't know. Either way, Pittsburgh escaped with what could have been an ugly upset, and they did thanks to Boswell, who absolutely bombed a 60-yard field goal with just over a minute left to seal the win. Oh yeah, and they can also thank Ramsey for that hit on 4th down that would have had the Jets at 1st down and much closer to the field goal range. Overall performance, I'm going to give them a B-. I think both teams did fairly well today. Jets did better than I expected, and the Steelers were, well, just about what I expected with Aaron Rodgers. And now we got the New York Jets. I am going to catch hell for this one, but the Jets look much better than I expected. Now, this might just be a week 1 thing, and I think they're going to come back down to earth the next, and Fields might not perform the same, but for this game, they were really good. Same goes to Fields, who I know I haven't been the nicest on. He surprised me the way the offense ran with him under center, and gave them an electric performance that really had me on the edge of my seat, who shockingly also they had this game under control until they didn't. Up 9 at halftime and everything flipped upside down after a brutal fumble in the 3rd. A mistake that turned into 7 points, and for the Steelers, this is what they needed. And for the Jets, this is what they didn't want. This right here was the turning point in what ended the honeymoon first half for the Jets. Not saying they didn't perform at all in the 2nd, but compared to the 1st, it's clear they sold. Especially when it mattered most late in the 4th, where they came up empty on a key 4th down. Now for the defense, solid overall, only giving up 98 yards in the 2nd half. But I mean, of course, no thanks to the fumble, the Steelers still walked away with 17 points. Way to fuck it up, but I mean, it was a dogfight until the end and sure to be a fun game that tells me both teams are about to have a good year. Which is where the silver lining falls here. I mean, sure, it was a loss, but the Jets showed fight and more life here than I did see entirely last season. Again, they might not be a squad that's going to win every game, but they're a squad that's going to make you work for it. I'm going to give them a B just because for what I expected, same with many others, expectations were shattered. Solid B performance, and honestly, they pulled the upset would have been much better. As the Cardinals were not perfect in week 1, but what I will say is you can see the large upside here with this team. The offense has weapons everywhere. James Conner, Trey Benson, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., who looks to be a problem for future defenses. 5 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Kyler Murray, super efficient, 72% on his passing completions, going 21 for 29, with 163 passing yards and 38 total rushing yards. A solid day for everyone overall, but I mean, it's vintage Cardinals. They look solid against bad teams. Although I will say, if this team ever really does put it all together with the weapons they have, they're going to be elite. But until that day, I have yet to be completely confident in even saying they might be a sleeper playoff team. I gotta see it to believe it, especially on Kyler Murray, who we all know a lot about. And now he has games like this where he does well, then the next he's the reason they lose. I'm gonna give him a B-. I'm not gonna drink the Kool-Aid too much here, as anyone else should not either. It's just the Saints beatdown, which they nearly still lost themselves, struggling to put up anything more than 3 in the second half. They play like this against any other team, they lose this one, but thankfully they didn't. So overall, I'm just gonna give the Cardinals a B-. Kellen Moore's coaching debut with the Saints almost ended in an upset, which, funny enough, wasn't because of the offense. It was the defense that kept them alive. The defense was able to get 5 total sacks on this overgrown Oompa Loompa Kyler Murray, and they held him to just 163 passing yards. See, now that's how you stay in a game. But the problem? Well, Spencer Rattler's a QB1. Holy shit, he was missing a lot of people. He doesn't look anything like an NFL starter. I'm sorry, this is a career backup if I've seen one. And when the game was right there for the taking, Rattler decides to rattle things up and go 11 for 23 in the entire quarter, blowing any chance they had at winning. I know there's people online saying, oh, Rattler was good, it's everybody else who was bad. No, he was good enough to just lose by 7. The guy is not a good quarterback. And without Kamara's rushing touchdown, this game was never close. I'm sorry, I mean 4 trips inside their 20 and only 1 touchdown came out of it. But again, take away Kamara, they do borderline next to nothing. The guy had damn near 50 passing attempts that barely hit half of them. You're telling me that's a good starter? Like, look, I don't believe Tyler Shuck is going to amount to much either, but I'd rather watch him try and then have to watch Spencer Rattler play make-believe at the quarterback position for 60 minutes straight. Kellen Moore, you know what to do. Giving the Saints a C-. Now we have the New York Giants. First game and they're already questioning who the fuck the quarterback's gonna be next week. Typical Giants football, gotta love having him back, am I right? I mean, it's crazy, it's not even gonna take more than 6 weeks for Dart to come out. Russ is just that ass. Yes, I said he completed under 46% of his passes and finished with just 168 yards and has never looked more comfortable than ever. I mean, I wouldn't either with the way this O-line blocks. And even with that, he did no favors. And here's the real joke. The Giants actually had chances. I mean chances to win this game. Yeah, somehow the Giants almost nearly got the upset. I mean, the defense kept them in it, the way the Commanders struggled to do anything offensively. But just like the Commanders, so did the Giants. Their offense completely stalled out. Two times, they got inside Washington's 5-yard line and said, how about instead of scoring a touchdown, we go for 2 kicks? Fucking idiots. It was right there for the taking and they found the most giant way to screw it up. Just brutal. Now the big question for next week is, how long do they stick with Russ? Because if the offense keeps fucking up the way it did, from the horrid pass game to the non-existent run game, fans are going to have Russ's head on a pitchfork by week 5. And for Brian Daboll, well, his ass is good as gone if something doesn't get done quick. And by that, I mean giving us Jackson Dart. Or even James Winston. I mean, I'll take it just for the memes, but anyone but Russ. That was tough to watch. I'm going to give the Giants a D+. Defense did well, but everything on the other side of the field, from Mr. Unlimited to the non-existent run game to the O-line and to the coordinators, just a bad day overall. And I'm just saying, y'all better hope this man turns up against the Cowboys. If he loses that one, I'm sure that's it. Now we have the Commanders. For 3 quarters, the Commanders just couldn't put away the Giants, which had me screaming how at my TV in a game that I thought would have been belt to ass, just to show how much of a threat the Commanders are, but they started off pretty slow. Just so happens they played too damn slow and almost lost this thing. But as soon as the 4th quarter hit, everything went back to normal. Everyone said, watch this. 220 rushing yards total, with a ridiculous stat of 114 of those yards coming from just the 4th alone. Which, by the way, Bill aka Merritt, remember that name. A future superstar in the making, I'm telling you right now. 10 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown. Being the absolute spark in this offense that sure as hell needed to jump this game. Oh yeah, and that Deebo Samuel trade, one where everyone was saying he's fat, he's washed. Why would you want him? already paying itself off. 7 catches, 77 yards, and a 19-yard touchdown run. In other words, he was everywhere you needed him to be and contributed to the offense perfectly. Team looks legit. I think everybody knew that, and if they keep playing like this, the Commanders are going to be a real threat to win the NFC East. Just, maybe start off a little faster next game. Either way, I'm going to give the Commanders a grade of a B-. San Francisco 49ers. So Robert's back in San Francisco, and the 49ers defense did not take long to already show why it's terrifying. They shut down the Seahawks in the second half, forced 2 turnovers, and Nick Bosa sealing it in the end with a clutch forced fumble in the final minute. And then to turn to the offense, you had Christian McCaffrey looking 100% again, which is one of my biggest questions going into this year was, how's McCaffrey gonna look? 31 touches, 142 total yards, and proving he's still the engine of this team. It wasn't pretty, but it was a gritty road win over a division rival. Perfect way for the Niners to shake off last year's ugly season. Although, from the news I've heard, Purdy's hurt and Kittle's out for a couple of weeks, so should be interesting to see how it goes. But to make this one short and sweet, I'm going to give the Niners a B-. Those 2 picks thrown by Purdy were very ugly, and it's just a really good thing the Seahawks weren't able to do anything off of them. But yeah, it was a far from perfect performance, but overall still a solid win. B-. Now we have the Seattle Seahawks. And just like that, Sam Darnold is exactly who we imagine him to be. And that's old vintage Sam Darnold, not this false image the Vikings created for any team looking for a quarterback in the free agency. Which again, as I said in the offseason, Seahawks sipped way too hard of that Kool-Aid and thought this would be better than keeping around Geno Smith, who was killing it in Vegas. Real genius move right there, but I don't even think Geno wanted to stay. Either way, you reap what you sow. And for Darnold, paycheck's a paycheck. Doesn't fucking matter who's signing it, it's a paycheck. So he did what he was paid to do, and that's game manage. Which I won't say he was primarily the sole reason they lost, but he sure as fuck would have not been the first reason they won. The run game was mid, JSN popped off, but besides that, a very mediocre day here. And if they want any chance of winning the division, let alone making a wild card spot, the offense is going to have to be so much better than what they showed today. The defense did alright, nothing crazy besides the 2 picks and 1 sack, but other than that, they couldn't stop a flood if they were a dam. Purdy was picking them apart left and right, and the run game looked healthy on the other side, so definitely something you want to improve on if you want anything other than another 8-9 season. I'm going to give the Seahawks Week 1 debut C+. And now we have the Tennessee Titans, Cam Moore's debut game. I'm not even gonna get into how pissed off this game actually made me. Like, not in a way where I say I was supporting anyone, but at some points, drops just piss me off. Because for all the stat watchers, they'll look at Cam Moore's performance and say he's ass, when the game tells a different story, and the outcome could have been so much more different, but I'm gonna leave it at this. Cam Moore is the Bugatti in a fucking trailer park. Defense played good, but this offense is utter shit. With the only flame on it being Pollard and Ward. Take away those 2, this is one of the worst teams I've seen in a minute. Like, Jesus Christ, do your rookie a favor and hold on to the fucking ball. Overall grade, I'm gonna give the Titans a C. Now we have the Denver Broncos. By all means, I still believe in Bo Nix as much as the next guy, but what in the sophomore slump was I looking at this game? I was told this offense was unstoppable in the offseason by damn near everybody. Because I'm a Chiefs fan, so I was like, oh hey, watch out, the Broncos look pretty damn unstoppable. And I was actually like, you know what, you might be onto something. Shit was stoppable on this day. Like, Nix was striking confidence into the defenders rather than his own teammates with 2 ugly picks and going 25 for 40 with barely 180 passing yards. See, now it's week 1, so I'm gonna treat it like it is. It's week 1, and I know what he's capable of, so I'm gonna cool it, but please let it just be an off game rather than the start of a sophomore slump. Other than that, RJ Harvey looks as advertised with only 6 carries. JK looked really good to no one's surprise. Receiving was led by Cortland Sutherland and Troy Franklin. But besides that, it was a pretty shoulder-shrugging performance that people are gonna forget by next week. The good news is, for the offense's fuck-ups, the defense can be counted on. They showed up and they dominated. Didn't allow a single touchdown and forced 2 turnovers to seal the deal. So what did we learn today, class? Well, your offense is allowed to be shit once every couple of weeks because, hey, look at this defense. No need for us to do anything if y'all can't do anything either, which is what the mindset felt like looking at this game. As long as somebody shows up, fuck it, it's alright. But for being hyped as this team was in the offseason that was said to take the AFC by storm, they sure as hell didn't, and they struggled with the Titans out of all teams. I still have hope for the Broncos. I don't think this week 1 is going to sum up their entire year, but this game had blown out written all over it before it started, and you could have sent a strong message to everybody else, but y'all didn't. So to be fair, I'm giving y'all a C-. Because 1, y'all didn't do what was expected, and 2, this could have been one ugly upset. Had Tennessee actually gave Ward some actual weapons, and not the janitors from the stadium, this could have been a rough way to start your season. But overall, I'm giving the Broncos a C-. And now we have the Green Bay Packers. The Packers team completely dominated this game from start to finish. Jared Goff suffered 4 seconds at the hands of the defense, including one from Micah Parsons, who jumped out of the line like a shark attacking its prey. Brutal stuff to see if you're a Lions fan. But if not, you gotta love it. Additionally, the Packers stopped the Lions' renowned rushing attack, which was unexpected itself. And really, the Packers appear to have anticipated the Lions' offensive strategy before the Lions even could. Jordan Love completed at least one pass to 10 different players, demonstrating his affection for almost every receiver on this team. Definitely not just because the Lions' secondary didn't do a damn thing this game. But yeah, in other words, it was a 5-star buffet practically the way everybody was eating. And I mean, with the way the NFC looks, the Packers may just be the best team there. If not, they're definitely the best team in their own division. This performance gets an A+. They came in, they heard all the noise, they executed on both sides of the field perfectly and delivered belt to ass. A+. And now we have the Detroit Lions. You know, maybe Ben Johnson was the soul of this team. And no, I don't care. Goff threw for 225 and went 31 for 39. He was ass. The run game was ass. Tell Gibbs to change his number back to 26 because 0 is what he did today. Absolutely nothing. I mean, yeah, he had 10 catches, but they resulted in nothing. I mean, hell, it's a fucking record. He set a record for the fewest yards gained on 10 catches in NFL history. It was so bad it got its own record. I fucking can't. The receiving room looked good, but I mean, there was nothing insane other than checkdowns because that's all Jared Goof is good for. And without his play caller here to help him out, I just don't see him being anything other than that. But I mean, hey, let's score when it's too late to make the game look much better than it really was. Same could be said for the defense. They couldn't really stop much either. I mean, they have their moments, but no one looked like how they should have for a team with high expectations. This was one of the most unexpected bad performances of the week, and just an example of being outcoached simply. I'm not saying the Lions are going to suck all year, but to open your year like this, that's easily an F. You can argue D or D-, and you're probably right, but in my eyes, I saw an F written all over this one. Now we have the Texans versus the Rams. Look, I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this one. This game was boring. At least for one side of the field. When the Rams were up, I'm awake. Not just for this offense, but for the Texans defense, which I believe is one of the best in the AFC. But whenever the Texans get the ball, I'm asleep. No consistency was demonstrated at all in this game. Either they went 3 and out, which it felt like most drives, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll get a drive longer than 5 plays, which of course won't result in anything. Like I said, I slept during their drives. Close my eyes, wake up, nothing was done. I already knew it. I mean, it was great seeing Nick Chubb look alive again. But outside of that, they struggled, and it shows. Sucks you can't give this type of defense to anyone else, because I'm telling you, give the Bills a defense like this, my God, I'd wonder how they look. And no, I don't blame Stroud. Don't get my words twisted. I believe he's a great quarterback trapped in a bad system. Not that they don't give him the weapons. They can't give him what he needs. They run this bitch like it's Madden. You have O-line troubles? Great. We're going to add you another 2 wide receivers. I need O-line help. You said receiver? Say no more. Get this man another receiver. Get the man an O-line. Fucking sickening to watch him destroy the man or turn this franchise around single-handedly. A 50% pressure rating? Like, fuck, dude. And he does good for what he's given. I mean, I know he's gonna show up. He's that guy, but will everybody else? I honestly can't wait for him to lead this sorry-ass franchise. And honestly, it's not that I don't want him to. I want him to stay a Texan. I think he fits what they're looking for, and I think he makes them look great. But if they don't get him what he needs, and that's a damned O-line, he's probably gonna take his talents elsewhere. Like, this is a Super Bowl type of quarterback, and I think even he knows he could be that guy. We've seen him drag this team to the division every year. The last 2 he's been there. It just sucks they won't get anywhere past that because they can't provide him something as simple as an O-line. They have a lot of work to do, and honestly, if they don't do it soon, this season's going to look very mediocre. I'm going to give the Texans a C+. And now we have the Los Angeles Rams. We know they're good. You know, no need to talk much here. Defense looks killer. Stafford's still one of the best in the league despite not being at training camp much. Devontae Adams looks good. Puka looks great. And sure, they might have not scored a lot, but I doubt anybody cares. B+ performance. They showed up and they did what they needed to do. And now we have the Sunday night game, perhaps what I think is one of the greatest games I've seen in recent years, and probably the game of the year already, the Ravens versus the Bills. Let's talk about Baltimore, shall we? For 3 quarters, the Ravens played a nearly perfect game, what looked to be a strong victory over the Bills in the 4th, up 40-25 with 4 minutes remaining. But as I tell most women in my life, I don't last long. Same with the Ravens holding leads. They don't last! And well, they choked. But you know, aside from the choke, I mean, just to look at this performance individually, like from my king, Derrick Henry. Note, I'm a Crimson Tide fan, not a Ravens fan. Anyways, he rushed for an impressive 169 yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. And he was a big reason they should have won, but unfortunately, he would also be the reason they lose with a fumble late in the 4th quarter to bring Buffalo back to life. The Ravens were restricted to just 28 total yards on their final 3 possessions after Lamar Jackson, who was unstoppable for majority of the game, stopped being Lamar Jackson come the 4th, and Baltimore will be outgained 264 yards to 87 in just the 4th quarter as a result of the Ravens' offensive and defensive collapses. Which, yeah, that's how you blow a 40-25 lead with 4 minutes left to play. And honestly, sad enough, this is not the first time it's happened. The Ravens choked away leads plenty, and perhaps too many to where it take another minute or two to explain how many they've choked. So to put it lightly, learn to close a fucking game. Like, on serious note, like, please, start closing out these games. If this loss was not embarrassing enough to make Harbaugh understand how not to do that, then I don't know what will. But this one's gonna sting. It's gonna sting a lot because, mark my words, you do not want to lose to a rival in this way. I'm gonna give them a B+. It would have been an A- performance had they actually held out until the very end there. But, well, you know, they couldn't. B+ up until the very end. And now we have the Buffalo Bills. The Bills will never be out of contention as long as Josh Allen is available. And when I say these words, I mean every single one last of them. With Josh Allen, the Bills are never out. With the Chiefs, as long as Mahomes is there, never count them out. You know, there's a few quarterbacks who have this effect, and you bet your ass Allen is one of them. And when they needed him to show up like flashing a light into the sky, Allen brought out his Superman cape and did what Superman does best. And as you know, that's exactly what he did. When he threw for 251 of his 394 passing yards, scoring 3 touchdowns in the 4th, let alone the last 4 minutes. It was an amazing performance that resulted in an epic victory. Keon Coleman had a breakout game, catching a career-high 8 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown. The Bills' defense also merits recognition. The team allowed 345 yards in the opening 3 quarters, but shut down the Ravens in crunch time in a very important moment when Buffalo needed it the most. And because of that, they made one of the best comebacks I've seen in recent history. And for me, one of my most favorite comebacks since the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Especially in this large statement win to let everyone know the Bills are here to stay. And what finally could be their season. Which I know we got a long ways to go and anything can happen. But it's one hell of a way to start it off. I would have said an A+, but we also gotta admit, some things really had to go the way for this to happen. With the fumble, Coleman's miracle catch, I mean a lot of things led to this comeback that could have easily still been a loss. But overall, I'm giving the entire team an A, and for the game of the year, I'm gonna give it A+. And now we have the Minnesota Vikings. McCarthy threw a pick 6 and turned into Brady right after to end the game. Respectfully, the fuck? The defense looked great, run game was solid, not much to talk about here. I mean, if McCarthy didn't sit up in his gaming chair after the pick, the game would never came this close, let alone when they had pulled the win out of Caleb's fruity ass. But I mean, hey, win's a win, and for your rookie quarterback, it's a great way to start the season. I'm gonna give him a B-. Now we have the Chicago Bears. Caleb's disappointing. I mean, I'm just going to leave it there. I don't understand. You know, everyone else did fine, had plenty of opportunities to blow this game out of the water. But no, you know, when your quarterback is like this fucking moron, for example, you just won't. It's sad to a point to where McCarthy's debut showed more promise than what I saw out of Caleb. And I can already hear the excuses being painted. Get it? Painted like his nails? I mean, fucking hell, that should have been the first sign. You didn't draft a killer, you drafted a fluffer. The real killer is on the Commanders. Drake May would have looked better here. And again, I sure as hell wish I had a channel back during that draft because my mocks would have had him as the quarterback 2 or 3. But nope, I gave him chances. I had a little ounce of hope that he might actually be decent and maybe I was just overhating. And I thought maybe with Ben Johnson, he'd be better, right? Right? Nope. I lost that little ounce of hope last night. I mean, maybe either Ben Johnson's just not that great or maybe he's just this ass. He looked great first drive and then I guess he got distracted by the male cheerleader on the Vikings and proceeded to play ass the rest of the night. Besides maybe 1 or 2 plays, I just don't know anymore, man. I'm gonna give the Bears a C+, not only because of his dumbass tomfoolery, But Ben Johnson giving Swift the ball 17 times when it didn't work the first 5. Why give him that many more opportunities? I mean, sure, he was able to turn Gibbs and Montgomery into something big, but he turned good players already into even better ones. You can't polish a turd. Decisions, and none of them were the right ones to be made. C+ performance in a very rough way to start your season. And that will do it, ladies and gentlemen. Week 1 NFL was very interesting to say the least. A lot happened for a week 1, funny enough. I mean, a lot of players are already on the hot seat. Coaches are on the hot seat. Let's just say it was a week to remember. Very good week overall. Yeah, with all that being said, I really hope y'all did like my week 1 reactions. I hope y'all did enjoy the grading. And I wanted to try something different. I see a lot of people react to week 1, but I never see them do something like this. So who knows? Maybe this new concept might be the start of something. But anyways, with all that being said, I will see you on the next Random Recap.